Fox News reporter Peter Doocy, who is known for asking the tough questions, has been having a terrible dream. Talk about his wife Hillary Vaughn's sad diagnosis has been going around like wildfire, followed by shocking reports that he is leaving the network. Does he really mean goodbye to everything? Everyone thought the truth would be easier and less frightening than it is. The internet has been full of scary stories about Hillary Vaughn, Peter Doocy's wife, for months now. The stories paint a picture of a young family in trouble who is fighting a secret health war that no one knows about. Multiple news sources say that Hillary has been sick with a serious disease that has not been named. Things aren't very clear, but the point is clear. There is a terrible problem. Worst of all is the report that Hillary has been sick with cancer. Based on these reports, the pair has been through a long and hard battle that has tested their strength and resilience. Some reports go so far as to say that Hillary had a big surgery in April 2022, which is very scary. It breaks my heart to think of a young mother going through something so terrible. Fans and watchers are very worried about the family's health. However, the story got stranger as people tried to understand it better. As more information came out, it directly refuted the cancer story. Many people say that Hillary Vaughn is completely healthy and not having any major health problems. There was a lot of misunderstanding because of this. How could there be two stories going around at the same time that couldn't be more different? Was she experiencing sickness or not? According to some websites, Peter's wife's name was misspelled as Amanda, Helen, or Rachel, which made the situation even more confusing. Everyone was curious about what was really going on behind closed doors because there was so much different information. Did the Doocy family have a terrible secret they were trying to hide? Or was this all a terrible mistake? Actually, the answer is a mix of the two. The story about how the Doocy family got a terrible news is 100% true. There was only one person that was being looked at, though. Listen carefully. If you think you know the truth, then hear what really happened. People thought Peter Doocy and Hillary Vaughn were having problems in their personal lives, but they were quietly building a life together. A life they strongly kept hidden from the public eye. Working together was where they met and fell in love. Both of them are skilled Fox News reporters. Peter joined the network right after college graduation in 2009, and Hillary joined the Fox business desk in 2016. She was in the second class of the Fox News Junior Reporter program and was sent to Manchester, New Hampshire to learn how to write from the ground up. Nobody knew they were dating for years while they worked together on the biggest news in the country. They told none of their co-workers about their relationship in public. There was love going on behind their backs. When Peter told everyone at Fox News that they were getting married in 2020, it sent shockwaves through the company. Astonished people. They worked with them for years and had no idea that they were dating. It was just as private and quiet at their wedding as it was when they were dating. In April 2021, they got married at the Montage Palmetto Bluff in South Carolina. Justin Bieber and Hailey Baldwin had also gotten married there. They had originally planned to get married in January, but because of the pandemic, they had to change the date. The delay made the event even smaller and more personal. They didn't want a big media show for their big day. Instead, they decided to have just 18 close family and friends there. Stephen Doocy, Peter's dad, was proud to be his best man. Peter looked great in a navy blue tuxedo in the outdoor reception photos, and Hillary looked stunning in a long-sleeved wedding dress with small flowers on it. In an Instagram post, Hillary shared a photo of them cutting their cake with the caption, "Life with you takes the cake." Steve Doocy also shared photos on his own account, writing, "Welcome to the Doocy family, Hillary Vaughn. We are so happy for both of you." This intense desire for privacy created a vacuum of information around the couple. With so few details about their personal lives available, they became a blank canvas for online gossip. This lack of a public narrative allowed the false rumors about a health crisis to take root and spread, as there was no official story from the couple to contradict it. Their secret love story, while romantic, accidentally created the perfect conditions for misinformation to flourish. But the truth of their family life was about to become very public in the most joyful way possible. Peter and Hillary's journey from a secret couple to a growing family has been just as remarkable as their private romance. They chose to share the news of their first pregnancy in a way that felt natural to them on live television, surrounded by family. In September 2022, they appeared on Fox and Friends during a segment for a new cookbook written by Peter's parents, Steve and Kathy. As Steve was talking about the recipes, he mentioned that the food is great if you're really hungry. Peter then chimed in, pointing to his wife and saying, "And Hillary is hungry all the time." With a smile, Hillary delivered the big news. "That's because I'm eating for two." A sonogram photo then appeared on the screen, and the studio erupted in celebration. Their first child, a beautiful baby girl named Bridget Blake Doocy, was born on February 1st, 2023. She weighed 8 pounds 1 ounce and was 21 in long. Hillary's journey to motherhood was anything but ordinary. In a story that showcases her incredible dedication to her career, her water broke while she was on her way to work on Capitol Hill. She later joked about the experience, saying she knew where all the offices were for senators who used to be doctors. But luckily, she didn't have to call any of them to catch the baby. Peter, meanwhile, was getting fatherly advice from the most powerful man in the world. At a White House holiday party, he asked President Joe Biden for any tips on being a new dad. The president, who was touched by the question, gave him simple but profound advice. Hold her tight. Just over 2 years later, their family grew again. Their son, George Jack Doocy, was born on April 16th, 2025, which also happened to be their wedding anniversary. Incredibly, Hillary was once again balancing the demands of her job with impending motherhood right up to the last minute. Just hours before George was born, she was on Capitol Hill reporting live about tax day. She went straight from her TV report to a routine doctor's appointment where her OB told her the baby was ready to come out. Hillary joked, "Maybe he was tired of hearing me talk about taxes." I don't blame him. Today, the family of 4 lives in a beautiful 5-bedroom home in Fairfax, Virginia, which they purchased in 2023 for $1.68 million. The location is a perfect 40-minute drive from the White House, where Peter spends his days as one of the most recognized correspondents in the country. The true story of their family life is not one of sickness and struggle, but one of incredible strength. Hillary Vaughn, the woman rumored to be sidelined by a tragic illness, was in reality a powerhouse, a dedicated journalist who reported from the heart of American politics just hours before welcoming both of her children into the world. Her resilience is the real headline, a powerful truth that got lost in a sea of false rumors. But how did her husband become such a lightning rod for public attention in the first place? He is a member of a Fox News dynasty and one of the most visible and confrontational journalists in Washington, D.C. He is the eldest child of Steve Doocy, the longtime co-host of the popular morning show Fox and Friends. Growing up, Peter was surrounded by the world of television news. But his parents actually hoped he would choose a different path, perhaps business or law. But the pull of journalism was too strong. After graduating from Villanova University in 2009 with a degree in political science, he was immediately hired by Fox News, the same network where his father had become a household name. Even in college, he was already contributing to the network as a reporter for a program called PSDRA.net. From the very beginning, his father acted as his coach, just as he had years earlier for Peter's middle school baseball team. Steve even volunteered to coach the team just to make sure Peter, who was on a very competitive team, would get a chance to play. In the early days of Peter's reporting career, Steve would watch every report, holding his breath for the entire 2 minutes, terrified his son would make a mistake on live TV. Afterward, Peter would call him and ask for an honest review, and Steve would give him advice, sharing the mistakes he had made so Peter could avoid them. Peter quickly carved out his own identity. He wasn't just Steve Doocy's son. He was a sharp and relentless reporter who was not afraid to ask the tough questions. His career took him to New York and Chicago before he landed in Washington, D.C. in 2010. He covered some of the biggest stories in the country, including the Sandy Hook Elementary School shooting, the Boston Marathon bombing, and the manhunt for 2 escaped prisoners in Dannemora, New York. In 2014, he landed a massive exclusive, the first television interview with Robert O'Neill, the Navy SEAL who claims to have fired the shot that killed Osama bin Laden. The documentary titled The Man Who Killed Osama bin Laden had the highest ratings of any documentary in Fox News history at the time. But it was when he became a White House correspondent in 2021 that his star truly began to rise. He became known for his persistent and often combative questioning style during White House press briefings. His daily exchanges with press secretaries, first Jen Psaki and then Karine Jean-Pierre, became must-see TV. These verbal sparring matches often went viral, featuring tense, but sometimes playful back and forths over the administration's policies. His relentless approach led to several unforgettable moments. In January 2022, President Joe Biden was caught on a hot mic calling him a stupid son of a bee after Peter shouted a question about inflation. The president later called Peter personally to clear the air, a moment that showed the unique relationship between the two. Doocy's time at the White House has been so eventful that even nature seems to have taken notice. During one live report from the White House lawn, a bird swooped down, landed on his head, and then dive-bombed him before flying away, all on live television. It is this high-profile confrontational role that makes him a constant topic of conversation. He is a central character in the daily drama of American politics, which is why the public is so fascinated by his personal life. His professional identity as the reporter who never backs down made him the perfect target for rumors because his life, both public and private, is always under a microscope. This brings us to the final, most confusing rumor of all. The real cancer nightmare that rocked the Doocy family didn't belong to Hillary Vaughn. It belonged to Peter's mother, Kathy Geard, the wife of Fox News anchor Steve Doocy. Her journey was a terrifying ordeal that began in the most ordinary way possible. Around 2015, Kathy and Steve went to their eye doctor for a routine exam to get new prescriptions for sunglasses. During the checkup, the doctor noticed something unusual, a small freckle on the back of Kathy's eye. He said it was probably nothing to worry about, but asked her to come back in a few months for a follow-up just to be safe. When they returned for the second exam, the mood changed instantly. The doctor took one look and knew something was wrong. He immediately referred them to a specialist who then urged them to go to one of the best eye hospitals in the country, Wills Eye Hospital in Philadelphia. A massive blizzard was shutting down the entire New York area, but that didn't stop them. At 5 in the morning, Steve and Kathy were driving on a snow-covered highway, filled with a sense of dread. After a full day of tests, a top eye doctor named Carol Shields delivered the devastating news. She looked at them and said, "Kathy, you have eye cancer." The diagnosis was ocular melanoma, a very rare and deadly form of cancer. In that moment, Steve and Kathy felt like they couldn't breathe. The biggest fear was that the cancer could spread from her eye to other parts of her body, like her liver or lungs, which is often what happens with this type of cancer. Within weeks, Kathy began radiation therapy. The nights were the hardest. While her 3 children slept in the next room of their hotel, Kathy lay awake, filled with the same fear that everyone with cancer has. What if this treatment doesn't work? It was during one of these sleepless nights that she decided to write down all her family recipes for her children just in case. That act of love would later turn her into a best-selling cookbook author. But Kathy's story is not just one of fear. It's one of incredible impact. Years later, after she was cancer-free, she and Steve shared her story on TV while promoting one of their family cookbooks. Halfway across the country, a pastor was watching and realized that Kathy's story sounded exactly like what his friend Vicky had just been diagnosed with. He called her immediately and told her to find Kathy's story online. Vicky had been given 2 treatment options by her doctor: radiation therapy or enucleation, which means removing her entire eye. She was leaning toward removing the eye to get rid of all the cancer at once. But after hearing how Kathy had successfully battled the same cancer with radiation, Vicky changed her mind. She chose radiation and the treatment worked. The tumor shrank, and she was able to keep her eye and her vision. The pastor later told Steve that he believes Kathy's story saved Vicky's life. Today, Kathy has been cancer-free for more than 5 years, a true blessing for the entire Doocy family. She still deals with significant challenges from the effects of the radiation, but she is a survivor. She now donates a lot of the money from their cookbooks to eye cancer research, hoping to one day end this awful disease. This real-life health crisis is the source of the rumors. The final piece of this confusing puzzle is the rumor that Peter Doocy is saying goodbye to Fox News. This claim often went hand in hand with the false story about his wife's health, creating a dramatic narrative that he was leaving his high-profile career to care for his sick wife. But just like the health rumors, the story of his departure is a case of mistaken identity. The truth is, Peter Doocy is not going anywhere. In fact, his career is better than ever. In June 2024, he was promoted to senior White House correspondent at Fox News. On top of that, He was recently named the co-host of a brand new show called The Sunday Briefing, a role he shares with fellow correspondent Jackie Heinrich. He is not leaving the network. He is taking on more responsibility. So, where did the goodbye rumor come from? It came from his father, Steve Doocy. In May 2025, after more than 25 years as a full-time host, sitting on the famous curvy couch of Fox and Friends, Steve Doocy announced a major change to his role. He tearfully explained to viewers that he was stepping down from his daily in-studio duties in New York City. The decision stunned fans and colleagues alike. He explained that after decades of waking up at 3:30 in the morning for his commute, it was time for a change. But Steve Doocy is not retiring. This was a move that he and the network had been planning for some time. He and his wife Kathy relocated to Florida, and he now serves as a traveling co-host for the show, appearing 3 days a week. He explained that this new role would allow him to report from parts of America that don't often get network airtime, from the Carolinas to the Keys. The move also allows him to do something he missed out on for years: have breakfast with his family and grandchildren. This significant career change by the family patriarch was the real goodbye story. Even former President Donald Trump recorded a video tribute for his last day on the couch, congratulating him on his new role. The rumor mill took this fact, a famous Doocy changing his role at Fox News, and merged it with the false narrative about Hillary's health. They created a more dramatic but completely untrue story, pinning the departure on the wrong Doocy for the wrong reasons. The mystery of the title is finally solved. The tragic diagnosis belonged to his mother, and the goodbye belonged to his father. The story of Peter Doocy and Hillary Vaughn is not the tragedy that the rumors suggest. It is not a tale of illness or farewells. Their true story is one of quiet strength, deep loyalty, and a powerful commitment to building a private family life in the face of intense public scrutiny. They are a testament to resilience, proving that while rumors may fly, the truth of a happy, healthy, and growing family is what truly matters.